So it seems the government was right all along. Sickness from COVID-19 is on the way. Absolutely. Have a look at this. Here we have environmental pollution on a national scale. This river, which was crystal clear only like a day or two ago, I recorded it. You'll see it on, you've seen it. Here now it's brown, absolutely brown. Let me show you. This waterfall, you'll remember, was lovely and clear. Now it's completely and utterly brown, horrible, polluted water flowing down from the land, which has been polluted with chemical fertilizers produced by ICI. Okay, a company, if you check the ownership of that company, you will find out exactly who is behind that company. It's flowing into our streams and rivers and down into the sea. Combine this environmental pollution, which gives off toxic nitrous oxide or something into the atmosphere, with the rollout of 5G, which is effectively microwaving our country. You end up with microwaved pollutants in the air. Combine that with, you know, precipitation, light drizzle. You're going to get nanoparticles of microwaved pollutants into your throat and into your lungs, giving rise to an immune system response by poison cells which emit a little protein in order to try to deal with the poisoning, and that is what is known as a virus. This little protein is what we commonly know as a virus. It is not passed from person to person. It is caused by environmental pollution, and this is a new event that is happening all around the world. It started in Wuhan with the rollout of 5G, and a province with the worst, like one of the worst records in air pollution already. They could deal with the air pollution, but they could not deal with microwaved air pollution as a result of the 5G rollout. Over in China, they have been ripping down their 5G masts. Here in Ireland, we are putting them up at the same time that we are putting chemical fertilizers onto the land and into the water and down into the sea. This is going to cause widespread sickness throughout the country. It is no wonder the government are talking about a spike. It's no wonder they're telling you to stay inside and stay out of the fresh air, because there is no fresh air anymore. All you have is microwave pollutants. Every single person now is at risk, and it is man-made. There is only one way to deal with this now. That is to rip down the 5G masts that have been put up around the place, stop radiating and microwaving our atmosphere, and stop polluting our land with chemical fertilizers. There are high-yielding alternatives available. I've said it before, the only way to survive a viral epidemic is by natural means. This is out of your control now. Your atmosphere is being polluted by the very people who are telling you, you know, that you're to blame for spreading it from person to person and having you wash your hands non-stop with hand sanitizer that doesn't even have ingredients written on the bottle, for God's sake. Check the Blue Sky bottle of hand sanitizer and tell me what's in it. Nobody can tell me what's in it. Okay? Every time you wash your hands potentially with that hand sanitizer, you are only making yourself more of a receptacle to 5G. And that's it. Look at the state. Look at the state of the water. It's brown. In a couple of days, Lahinch Beach will be washing up dirty foam, and we're wondering where it comes from. But this is where it comes from. Brown sludge coming off the land due to the widespread distribution of chemical fertilizers over the past few weeks. The government knows it, I know it, and now you bloody well know it. You better bloody well do something about it. Get up off your arses, get out, knock down those masts and declare environmental war on the people that are perpetrating it against you. So this is a meditation practice I like to do here by the river, sound of the river, nature. I use a Wim Hof technique, which I've been taught. I'm not an instructor, but it's just a breathing technique, which involves breathing in deeply and letting it go. About 30 times. I don't recommend counting, just go for as long as you feel comfortable doing that until you know. During that time, try to empty your mind, focus on something visual in front of you. If that's still not working, then close your eyes and focus on the sound only. Let the sound completely just overtake you, the current line, the present sound, the sound of presence, and when you're there, you can open your eyes again or whatever. After 30 or more or less, don't count. Counting, in my opinion, just engages the mind, so it's counter-effective. Go for as long as you feel comfortable. And finally, after 30, you breathe in as deeply as you can and hold it for as long as you can. And then when you can't hold it anymore, you breathe out. Maybe catch your breath one time and breathe out completely, like empty everything, and then hold that, and don't breathe in for as long as you can. And finally, just when you finally have to breathe, just breathe and relax, and that's basically it. During all of that time, the purpose is to just completely empty your mind, and just the body relax, and just no thoughts, just get lost in the trance, basically. Very good start to the day. It's 10 minutes exercise in the morning. Highly recommend. Anyway, so I'm gonna just do it now. So here you have a coagulation, or whatever you want to call it, of pollution that has been flowing down the river off the land. This is what ends up in Lahinch Beach, and we'll be there, probably by tomorrow. Look at that. It's coming off the land. It does not originate in the sea. It is coming from the rivers. It is coming from the land. The source of it is chemical fertilizers that have been put out on the land over the past few weeks by farmers who have been led down the Swanee by on Teagasc and government, like ministers for agriculture. This is ministers for death. Okay, so that's basically it. So I've been preparing this all over the winter. Did a few days here and there, put down the soil over a few days, and now I've added in some actual living kale, comfrey, purple sprout and broccoli. Doesn't look like much at the moment, but the principle of reap what you sow applies. So hopefully it'll go to seed. It'll grow a little bit more. Everything you add in, it just adds a little bit more, and life itself just keeps on adding. So a bit of sunshine, a bit of rain, a bit of seed, and I'll throw a bit more soil down on top. I'll throw a bit of seaweed down on top. One thing I won't be throwing on top is that stuff that farmer over there is throwing down, which is chemical fertilizer, which is already poisoning the land, making the land impermeable. When the rain comes, the water just washes off straight away. I heard a fact today that we are losing 400 million tons of topsoil every year from the soil in Ireland, and that is down to the use of chemical fertilizers and just basically incoherent farming practices. You don't gain anything by putting down fertilizer. You get a little bit of grass growth spurts, but the cost in terms of the soil, the ecosystem, the biology, the worms is far outweighs, the bit of grass that you cut. And considering that farmers, are producing products that, barely covers their cost anyway in the first place, it doesn't make any sense to be spending money on chemical fertilizer. Well, why don't you just cut out the cost of the fertilizer, save yourself that money, put it into something else, something useful, and just let nature take over. Just let nature take over, man. We don't need to be exporting loads and tons of milk to China, and we don't need to be exporting loads and loads of beef all over the world. What we need is proper food, a proper range of diverse foods that can actually grow here, and trees, berries, fruit trees, and so on. And while my garden might look like absolute tat, that's not the point. That's not the point. Like, the point is, I'm sticking to nature.